Good morning. I'm finishing up my mini series on the soft skills, kind of five core soft skills that I mentioned. There are more than these. These are five that I believe are at the top of the list for soft skills that you need that we didn't learn in school. We didn't learn unless we had the right parents, the right mentors. And if you didn't have those people, like I did in many ways, and I had some soft skills that I learned from my parents and mentors, but I really needed to hire coaches to teach me other soft skills. We've talked about four of them. The fifth one that I want to talk about today is influence. Now, before I start, I want to talk about the difference between influence and manipulation. Manipulation is focused on me, not on the other person. And so if it hurts the other person or helps the other person, that's irrelevant. Manipulation is about me. I'll give you a really quick example. When I think I'm going to be late and somebody else is going to chastise me, or I'm going to be in trouble in some way, so I force my children into the vehicle rather than figuring out a way that works long term for all of us, okay? That's short-term thinking. Manipulation is short-term thinking. Simply getting the sale to the detriment of the other person, just so I can take care of myself. That's short-term thinking. That's not going to provide the business you need later on. So you need to have longer-term thinking. Influence, on the other hand, is focused on the other person. Now, I'm going to put a caveat in there. It's focused on the other person. Having said that, you always get something out of this. To think that you give and don't receive something in return is a lack of wisdom. It's a simplistic way of understanding life. Whenever we do something for somebody, we are gaining something in return. Sometimes it's money. Sometimes it's influence ourselves, the ability to influence more people. Sometimes it is a feeling of worthwhileness, of fulfillment, because we've helped somebody else. But you are gaining something here, okay? But the focus is on the other person. So with influence, you put yourself aside for the moment and go, what is it about this person that I need to know so I can maybe give them advice or help them in some ways that will help them get what they want and need out of life, with something that benefits them. Not from only my perspective, something that legitimately benefits them. I lived in China for 8 years, and my purpose in living in China long term was I didn't want to come in and I wanted to make a difference, actually, in a smaller part of China called Tibet. I wanted to make a difference, and I didn't want to come in and use my Canadian brain to make the difference. I wanted to understand Chinese culture enough and Tibetan culture enough that I could make a difference because I had some certain skills, not because I was Canadian, because I had certain skills, and because now I understood what the needs were there. Not from a Canadian perspective, not from a North American perspective. That's a very different point, okay? Okay, so how do you influence people? Well, the key is that you start using the other soft skills we've been talking about. You need to be able to listen well. You need to be curious. You need to really investigate, who is this person? What are their needs? What is motivating? What is driving them? What are their emotional attachments to things? What brings them pain? What brings them pleasure? And once I understand that and have a better grasp, now I can use certain skills, influential skills, to help them get to a point where they want to be. I use this all the time when I was working in addictions and mental health, where people said, I want to change, but I'm not doing what I need to do. I use this all the time in coaching, where people say, I want to change, but I'm getting stuck. I use this all the time with my kids, where to help them eat certain foods that are nutritious for them, or to go to bed on time, or to get certain chores done. I use this. And again, the focus, the difference is manipulation is it's helping me, not necessarily the other person. With influence, the focus is on the other person. This is what's good for another person because I've taken the time to get to know them. Influence is the key skill for sales. A good sale is when you listen really well to what somebody else needs and what motivates them, and then say, wait a second, do I have a product or service that fits that? And if you don't, you say, hey, I'm going to point you in some other direction. But if you do have something that's going to help them, you say, listen, I'm going to help you get to a point where you are going to buy this product or service because it's aligning so well with your needs and your desires. The focus is on the other person. Okay? It's good if it helps you as well. But the focus is on the other person. That's what's first or foremost. I could get into so many stories here. I've got so many examples of the way I'm using this right now, the way I'm teaching other people to do this. This is a shorter video, so I'm gonna cut it off here, all right? Influence is, if I could give my children any one soft skill, any skill on the planet that I believe would make the most difference in their life, it would be influence. That they would be able to listen, that they would be able to care enough about somebody to really engage with them and understand them, and then help them come to a place where it meets that other person's needs and desires. This is an incredible gift that you can give to others. And guess what? It's also going to make a huge difference to your bottom line in business. It's also going to help you with sales. It's also going to help you with finances. It's going to help you with relationships and a sense of confidence on so many levels. It's going to help you in a ton of different ways. Take the time to learn influence. This is a skill that there aren't a lot of books written about this, okay? It's a very difficult skill to learn. Having said that, the time and energy are worth it. Spend time, energy, and money as much as you need to gain the skill. And if it takes you 2 or 3 years, that's nothing. Think about that investment and what you're going to get for the rest of your life with more fulfilling relationships and with more influence in the world. We all want to have an impact on the world in different ways. Contemplate this a little bit. Today's action step, usually I give something very clear. It's not going to be as clear today. For today's action step, what I want you to do is contemplate how much influence you have in different relationships. With your boss, with your employees, with your co-workers, with partners, business partners, with life partners, with kids, with parents, in the relationships you have in this world. How much influence do you have? And once you start to understand that a little bit better, I want you to start a journey towards influence. It's going to be the best investment you make. It's possible, in my opinion. The best investment you can make in yourself. And when you invest in yourself this way, you have it. You won't lose it. When you invest in gold or silver, or real estate, I love real estate, but if you invest in these things or stocks, then you've got something for a period of time and it can disappear. When you invest in yourself, there are very few things that can take away your mind. Very few things. Invest in yourself today.